It was a peaceful Sunday, or more than a Sunday, it was precious cause both Mr. and Mrs. Yoongi got full day off from their daily hectic schedule. Junior was sleeping. Yoongi thought a small piano session would be the best way to wake up Junior. Usually fathers are tough. They don't want to spoil their sons, but that morning Yoongi wanted to surprise his toddler. Yoongi knew Junior loved when he played piano. Mrs. Min planned to treat Miss Kang a home cooked meal. Yoongi and Junior was in charge to invite Miss Kang to the surprise lunch. Junior opened his eyes, recognizing his Appa playing his favorite tunes. We have to go Nuna's dorm to pick her up. Oma cooking special meal for us. Yum. You need to get ready, Junior. Yoongi took the toddler in his arms. You should wash up first, Junior Min. The father-son duo headed to the washroom. Mrs. Min was excited about the lunch. Indeed, she was spoiled by Yoongi. She even struggled to measure the water to prepare ramyeon. Still, she was trying her best to put all her efforts in cooking. Because it was a day off and the wife should handle the kitchen cooking thing? No, that was not the rule of the Min family. Mrs. Min chose to cook cause she wanted to thank Miss Kang for helping her to raise Junior. Be a good boy, Junior. Yoongi patted on the toddler's back. He knew Junior wanted to play the piano sitting on his father's lap. Oma is busy, Junior. She will be angry if we got late to pick Nona. Dua? Yoongi concentrated to feed Junior. After that, the son-father duo left for the dorms of SNU. Yoongi dialed Miss Kang's number after reaching the SNU woman's dorm. Miss Kang, 여보세요, 오빠? Yoongi, 여보세요. Junior and I are here to invite you for a special home-cooked lunch prepared by my lovely wife. Please get ready and come down. Miss Kang, are you here? Yoongi, look out of the window. You can see Junior playing in the garden. Miss Kang Wan, a normal, regular student of SNU, had already planned to go to a famous club in Seoul and get drunk, but the phone call from Yoongi made her plan crumbled like house of cards. She wanted to say no, but it was Junior's mother after all. Give me 5 minutes, Oppa. Let me get ready. We'll meet you and Junior in the corridor. Miss Kang disconnected the call. Oh my god, you little heartbreaker. You brought flowers for me. Hearing Miss Kang's voice, Junior turned his face. As he was able to identify his Nona, a big smile was curved on the toddler's face. He took tiny trembling steps and jumped into her lap. You little heartbreaker, did you miss me? Miss Kang went rubbed her nose to his cheek and he giggled. Go, Yangi, we're already late. We will be scolded definitely. Come on, get in the car. Yoongi commanded in a sweet tone before securing himself on the driver's seat. In Yoongi's home, Miss Kang was playing around with Junior and Mrs. Min was busy in the kitchen, while Yoongi was sitting on the couch going through some random journal and his phone vibrated. Incoming call from Taehyung. Yoongi cried silently. Please invite me, I don't want to be hungry today. Yoongi received the call. 여보세요. Taehyung. Yoongi, are you inviting me to your place? Then it's a no. Taehyung, I'm nervous. Yoongi, is it something serious? I have cleared all the stages and I'm going to start my new job as an assistant professor from tomorrow. Yoongi, congratulations. My wife wanted to invite you to the lunch. She has already started cooking. Come on, get ready and come to my place. Taehyung, I'm serious. I'm not joking. Yoongi, I'm not joking either, Taehyung. Are you sure? From when she can cook? Yoongi, don't worry, we will order something. Don't get bored. Just come to my place. I have a plan. Taehyung, I don't know how would I introduce myself to the students if I misspell something on the board. Yoongi, come to my place within 1 hour. And Yoongi disconnected the call. As an obedient Hubei, Taehyung took his car keys and drove to Yoongi's place. Yoongi sighed in relief, seeing Taehyung. Most probably one more person who's gonna suffer from tasting the lunch Mrs. Min was preparing. Taehyung could hear Junior screaming his favorite Samchun's name. He waved his hand in the air with a classic boxy smile to greet the toddler. Yoongi had already messaged Taehyung his passcode to unlock the door. They pressed exactly same digits and successfully unlocked the door. The Goyangi girl is also invited? They frowned. In spite of helping Nuna in the kitchen, she's playing with Junior. How heartless. Being sassy, they just judged her. They knew where Yoongi was, but he preferred to go into the kitchen. Nuna, 안녕하세요. He politely greeted Mrs. Min. Mrs. Min greeted him back. Yoongi, I guess he is in the study room? Taehyung nodded. Nah, but I thought you might need someone to help you. He looked at Miss Kang, who was playing with Junior in the living area. Mrs. Min smiled. You know Taehyung? That little girl over there and the man I'm married to are actually pretty good cook and I wanted to cook for them. I wanted to treat you for clearing all the stages to be a professor and you know why I have let you to help me? Taehyung looked at her with widened eyes. Way. Mrs. Min chuckled. Cause they cook decent food. Nuna, that hurts. Taehyung fake cried. Face the reality and help to arrange the dishes. Mrs. Min tapped on Tae's shoulder. I'm a little nervous today. Can you give me another thing to do? Taehyung looked at her with puppy eyes. Okay, go and call your Hyung and the little beast. I will arrange the dishes. Mrs. Min answered with a gentle smile on her face. That Goyangi. She could do this easily. She could help Nuna. Taehyung muttered while heading to the study room. Hyung, lunch is ready. They softly asked Yoongi to join. Yoongi nodded and patted on his shoulder. We might end up ordering something. Don't be overexcited. The young master stepped out of the study room and asked Goyangi to join before washing his hands. Taehyung helped Junior to wash his hands. They nodded. He gently took Junior in his arms before staring Miss Kang, who was busy in phone. Yes, they had nothing to do with her. Yet he couldn't digest the fact how Miss Kang was speaking in such a casual way without knowing who was on the other side of the phone call. Whether a boyfriend, whether her boyfriend, he just judged her. Her words were audible enough yet not too loud. They could easily guess she was planning something exciting for the night time. Miss, can you please join us? These words maintained the rule of requesting, but his tone was not. Miss Kang was actually startled. She didn't expect the man who usually stares at her would come and talk to her, and because of his deep voice, her heart almost skipped a beat. Okay, that's the plan. Bye. The other person disconnected the call when suspiciously looked at Tae. She was afraid of mainly Yoongi, crossed her fingers instantly. Please God, stop this unfiltered man from spilling anything in front of Yoongi Oppa. She prayed while following Taehyung to the dining area. Mrs. Min was busy feeding Junior his lunch, so the other chef in charge, Taehyung, was serving the lunch. Yoongi, Taehyung, please pack some cupcakes for Goyangi. She will eat them later. Taehyung, I guess she can do that. She can't put her precious effort to pack the cupcakes Nona made for her own self. Taehyung himself realized that his words were extremely sharp. Yet there was no reply from Miss Kang's side, even no change in her expressions. She was eating the bland spaghetti without any words. Taehyung felt guilty. He wanted to apologize, but Miss Kang didn't raise her head during consuming the food Mrs. Min had prepared. Finally, Yoongi broke the silence. Taehyung, are you busy tonight? Tae, I have no plan, but I think I would probably. Yoongi gestured him to ask for the class notes, as it might help him to understand how the other professors had taught them. They understood and cleared his throat. Miss Kang, are you busy tonight? Miss Kang smiled politely. I have plans. I'm sorry. If you are planning something, please skip me. Yoongi, are you planning to go back to your dorm or not? Miss Kang startled. Yeah, where? Yoongi, Taehyung has appointed as the new assistant professor at SNU. You're so lucky. Your professor has served you the lunch. Miss Kang almost fumbled but gulped down the food she had already shoved in her mouth to suppress the sudden unknown feeling. It was fear? Of course. Fear mixed with more and more and more fear. Yoongi, I suggested him to go through the class notes. Can you share those photos with him or with me? I will send those to him. Miss Kang finally raised her face. I would love to help the new professor, but I have always used the pen and paper. I'm sorry, I have no photo of the class notes or board works, and my notes are in my dorm room. Yoongi, Taehyung, drop her at her dorm. And Goyangi, are you willing to give him your copies? It will be better for both of the students and the professor. Taehyung needs to catch the thread, how the previous professor taught. Miss Kang, I will send you the photos of my copies. I will drop you at your dorm. They used his deep voice. Miss Kang didn't answer or argue. She had already finished her portion of food. I will do the dishes. She went to the sink and put on the gloves before Mrs. Min could stop her. My little Goyangi, thank you. Yoongi chuckled. Please be my mother and my sister in the next life. Miss Kang raised her eyebrows. Both? In different lives, it's possible, but is it possible in one life? Why not? Just divide your soul into two. Yoongi was about to put on the gloves to help Miss Kang, but she stopped him. It's Junior's sleeping time. Pat on his back gently. Yoongi knew he would not be able to win against his little sister if the topic was related to Junior. He quietly took Junior in his arms and went to the studies while rubbing his back. Mrs. Min was about to put on the washing gloves, and this time Taehyung stopped her. Nuna, Hajima. Mrs. Min smiled. You guys are spoiling me. All of you ate the food but didn't complain. Miss Kang finally interrupted. Cause you cooked amazing, Unni. Go and have some rest. I will take care of this. Mrs. Min smiled. She knew she would not be able to win against Miss Kang as she has always taken care of her as her clumsy elder sister. Taehyung looked around the whole kitchen and dining area. It was quite impossible for one person to clean the whole area, so he put on the washing gloves, maintaining his glare. Obviously, he could see Miss Kang hesitating, but she didn't utter a single word. Will you mind if I help you with the dishes? Taehyung's deep voice made her to flinch. She didn't say anything, just stepped aside and made space for him to stand beside her. She raised her face and looked at him. How can one be looking so breathtaking? Her inner self kept screaming silently while enjoying the company of the most handsome man. Seon Sung-nim, when finally used her voice, I have plans for nights actually. They looked at her. I know. You were talking in a phone with someone. I'm not deaf yet. I didn't eavesdrop purposely. Please don't tell Yoongi Oppa, Miss Kang pleaded. Taehyung thought it might be some girl thing, like sleepovers or group studies, so he didn't have any intention to ask her the details. Still, to prolong the conversation, he asked, "So you are staying there whole night?" "No," Miss Kang answered. Taehyung, "Then I will drop you in front of your dorm. I guess you can give me your notes there." Miss Kang, "I'll be late if I don't leave as soon as possible." After finishing the cleaning, Miss Kang looked at Tae. "If you want to stay here, you can stay. I will send you the. They hung the cleaning apron at its place. "Let's go." Miss Kang had already secured herself in the passenger seat. Taehyung opened the door of his car. While securing himself with the seat belt, he glanced at the passenger seat. Same woman for the second time. Taehyung managed not to utter his thoughts out. "Can I call you Oppa?" Miss Kang broke the silence. "Tae, you need favor from me? If I'm not wrong." "Miss Kang, I have turned off my location. Yoongi Oppa and Unni would not be able to trace my location. Can you tell them that you have dropped me on my dorm?" Tae, "Sounds right, but something is fishy. Are you going to have drugs tonight? Tell me the truth." Miss Kang, "I guess no." Tae, "I don't believe you." Miss Kang, "Oppa, I want to say I don't care, but I know I can't say that." Tae, "Thank God you know that." The car stopped in front of the girls' dormitory of SNU. Tae, "Take your time to get ready. I will drop you where you are going to enjoy your night. I'm not gonna inform Yoongi Hyung, don't worry, but I think one person should know where you are, and accidentally that particular person is me." Miss Kang, "I know I have to trust you." Tae, "Unfortunately, you don't have any option, my dear." Miss Kang fake smiled before stepping out of his car. They downed the glasses of the window. "Take your time to get ready. You should look your best. Feel free." Miss Kang, "Way." Tae, "Simple. You can't say that you didn't get sufficient time cause I forced you or something like that." Miss Kang took her notebooks and put those into a bag after being satisfied with her look she created for herself. "You deserve a final twirl, girl." She praised herself. Should I put on a jacket? Should I carry one? She calculated and put one of her bomber jackets into the bag before stepping out of her dorm. Sensing a soft knock on the glass window, they took off his earphones. Clubbing? He unlocked the car door. Miss Kang, planning to get drunk for the first time. She secured herself in the passenger seat again. "Here's the notes." She put the bag on the back seat of the car. They, "Miss Kang, do you really think I will not inform Yoongi Hyung about this night?" Miss Kang, "Eventually he will know, and if you inform him about this, I know one thing. You will tell him only the truth. I believe that you will not mix any lie, or you can say imaginary story." They, "Let me call Yoongi Hyung." Miss Kang, "I will do anything for you. You can call him, but please don't call before you drop me in front of the club. I beg you. Just save my phone number for now, in case you need some help at night." They raised his hand for Miss Kang's phone, but from inside they was nervous as hell. He knew he was giving his personal phone number to one of the students he might face next day in the class. After saving his number as Kim Taehyung, he returned her that small device. "Have a great night, Miss Kang. Have a safe drive to your home, Dr. Kim Taehyung." Miss Kang waved goodbye to him. Taehyung was looking Miss Kang to enter into the club. He was about to ignite the engine when his phone vibrated. It was incoming call from Yoongi. They received the call. Yoongi. 여보세요, Taehyung. Have you got the notes? Tae. I have. Yoongi. Are you going through this? I haven't reached my home yet. Yoongi. Where are you? They actually. I will call you later, Hyung. Yoongi. Where is Goyangi? Is everything alright? They. Actually, she wanted to get drunk tonight. Yoongi. You are encouraging her? They. No, not. She had her plans. I just wanted to know where she was getting drunk, so I just dropped her in front of the club. Yoongi. What's the address? Send me the location. Are you crazy, Taehyung? You dropped her? Tae. Young, I have decided to wait for her. You don't need to come. Just don't change the password of your house, please. Don't get angry, Hyung. Yoongi. I just want her in the class tomorrow and just go inside the club and take care of yourselves. And he disconnected the call. Taehyung went inside the club. It was easy for him to identify Miss Kang as she had already told him she wanted to get drunk. He looked for her at the bar section. Miss Kang was ordering for her whiskey on the rocks. Taehyung wanted to stop her, but he stopped himself. He remembered. Once he was also a student, reckless one with low alcohol tolerance. He smiled, reminiscing the old Taehyung while his eyes were fixed at Miss Kang. Seeing her, he could easily guess the alcohol had already started reacting. Miss Kang ordered the cocktails her friends recommended. Taehyung was quite familiar with the taste of the cocktails. He had the idea how bad hangover she could have next morning, but he felt the urge to not to stop her. He wanted her to get drunk. He wanted to carry her into his arms. He wanted to see her how the pretty Miss Kang would be able to maintain her etiquettes. He wanted to see the free version of Miss Kang.